Okay, my name is Mellisa, and my claim of fact speech is on animal testing for scientific research. And my claim is that it is unnecessary to use animals for scientific research. It is estimated that more than 14 million rats and mice and 1.4 million other kinds of mammals are used in research every year. The research done often gives unreliable, inaccurate, and sometimes fatal results. There are many other ways to test this research. My first claim is that the research is unreliable. Humans differ from animals in many ways. Animals and humans differ anatomically, genetically, metabolically, meaning that the data that you get from these animals can't be transferred to humans with sufficient accuracy. One study conducted by the pharmaceutical company Pfizer came to the conclusion that one would be better off tossing a coin than relying on animal experiments. Only 5 to 25% of substances harmful to humans also have adverse effects on the experimental animals. Tossing a coin delivers better results. People are concerned with whether a drug will work on them, not an animal. Yes, we have discovered many things with the help of animal research. However, many of these experiments are inaccurate. One example of the inaccuracy of animal experiments is that thousands of children were born with birth defects that were not shown in the animals that they first tested on. Another example is that morphine calms humans but excites cats. Penicillin kills guinea pigs and aspirin poisons cats. These are drugs that we know and use today that are very beneficial to us because we tested them on humans after the animal tests failed. If we had relied on these animal tests, we wouldn't have these drugs today. Imagine how many more beneficial pharmaceutical drugs aren't released today because we abandoned them based on misleading animal experiments. We might have many more cures today than we do now. Numerous drugs that were considered safe to animals cause serious harmful effects on humans. 92% of potential pharmaceutical drugs that are shown by animal testing to be effective and safe did not pass clinical trials. Half of the other 8% that are approved are later taken off the shelves because they cause serious and sometimes fatal effects on humans. My second supporting claim is that there are many alternative ways to test this scientific research. We don't need to use animals. Some people actually volunteer and are willing to be tested on. Testing on actual humans has far better and accurate results because you're testing on the same species, the same exact thing. Testing on humans takes a lot less time and costs only a fraction of what animal testing costs. Scientists have created artificial skin, eyes, livers, and much more that we could test these things on, and they mimic the body's natural properties. We also have a number of computer virtual organs that serve as accurate models of the human body parts. In conclusion, animal testing is very unnecessary. It gives unreliable, inaccurate, and sometimes fatal results. If scientists want to know how something affects a human, test it on a human. It'll give exact results and may help us discover even more cures and breakthroughs in science.
All right, the topic's identified early on, as is your claim, so that's good. And I like the statistic that you have at the beginning to get our attention, although the number of rats and mice that die, I'm not exactly sure is a reason why animal testing is a bad thing. I spent $500 having rats killed this last year. I was perfectly happy to see them go. On the issue of the supporting structure, I think that you need to lay this out for the audience ahead of time. There's no preview of what the supporting structure is going to be. Now, you did signpost the secondary points in the body of the speech. I thought you did a pretty good job on that, although you are rushing through those points very quickly, and I think you could use an internal summary on those points as you're going through to help us absorb the argument that you're making on each of those points. You do have a lot of information, but it's not always presented as evidence. For instance, I got one citation on a study that found that the effect was no better than flipping a coin. Okay, that's fine, and you gave us a source citation on that. On the other information, though, there's a whole bunch of stuff about cats can't take aspirin, or monkeys are not allergic to something, or and then you mentioned a human test, which I assume is probably the thalidomide issue back in the 1950s that you're talking about. Those are okay examples, but we're not getting any source citation on those things. And then that was the last that I came close to having something that had a source citation on it. After that, everything is a claim without any evidence to back it up, and I think that that's a little bit problematic, especially when you're saying alternatives are available. Well, you need to show us what those alternatives are, the research that says that it is just as effective or even much more effective, which is your claim basically, than animal research would be. It sounds to me like all research is speculative, so I'm not sure that that animal research is any more or less speculative than human research is, because since half of the medications that get withdrawn after they're put on the market, that's after there's been human testing, that suggests a high degree of inaccuracy in the human testing also. So why is animal testing less useful than human testing if they're both are problematic? You need to, I guess the argument that you could extend from this is we should stop bothering testing medications and just pass them on to people because that's just as safe. I'm not exactly sure that that would be a tenable argument, and I think that you need to develop this point a little bit more, because you've got the right ideas here. The basic issues are labeled, but they're underdeveloped. And that's part of the problem that I see in the speech. It sounds a lot like I'm getting talking points on the issue instead of the complete argument with the evidence to support it. And the reasoning needs to be explained a little bit more. All right, thank you.